How's it going, guys? My name is Dave Higgins. Welcome to Sandbox Explorer. Alright, so September has a lot of games coming out that are pretty notable. I'm going to get through a bunch of them that I think are worth talking about, and there's also some news that came out this month as well that is pretty important. Some of it's not as important, some of it's kind of bad in my opinion, but it could appeal to you, and I'm just gonna let you know because I know there's a lot of people that'll be interested in some of this stuff, so I'm just gonna put it out there. Alright, so first things first, I might make a video on this in general to cover it more, but briefly I'm gonna mention the new controller, if you will, that Nintendo just randomly dropped a little video on Twitter, maybe other places, but I saw it on Twitter, that it's like a circular rubber ring that you can put the Joy-Cons in. They're calling it the Ring Con, and do all sorts of weird stuff with them. They gave no explanation. They were just like, check this out. It's like a fitness kind of controller, sort of like the Wii Fit, but not for people who are just casual. They only see that and think that's kind of cool, so maybe I'll get a Wii. It's for people who are into games, and honestly, if I was into controllers that are like really over the top and, you know, innovative, then I'd probably be into it, because it's like a JRPG that they showed, at least for this particular demonstration, that you go through and you do weird things with your arms that do different attacks, and you can defend against them with, you know, you hold it against your abs, and it's an interesting idea, but I don't know. For me, I've said it before, I just want to, when I play games. The only game where I want to play different than that really is like Big Buck Hunter, and that's the one game on Switch that doesn't have motion controls that should, but I digress. So I'm not going to go too much more into that right now. There's a little bit of information. I'll probably do a video on that to talk about it more in depth, but RingCon, it's a thing. Con. Okay, so like I said, there's a lot of games that have come out and are coming out still in September, and I'm gonna just run through some of them. On September 3rd, we finally got the Spyro Reignited Trilogy. It finally came out for the Switch. We saw it came out on PlayStation 4 and Xbox a few months ago, I think is when it was out, and it got kind of leaked online that it was gonna come out for Switch, and then got mysteriously taken down really quick, kind of like other things that we've seen. But that came out, I still haven't played it because I've been playing other games and I still need to do that, but that game came out, and if you're a big Spyro fan or you've never played Spyro and you want to check it out, then now's the time to do it. $30 for all 3 games, good deal. Final Fantasy VIII Remastered also came out on the same day, and that's one of the like highest demanded Final Fantasy games that's, you know, not been out on the Switch, and now it is. I don't think I really need to explain Final Fantasy that much. And also on the same day, Torchlight 2 came out. It's kind of, to me, like Diablo, but kind of goofy. I haven't looked into it too much. I haven't played the first one, but I'm aware of it having a decent following, and a lot of people like it. So the second one just came out, so check that out if you're interested in that style of game. And yeah. Now that day happened to be the Nintendo Direct, and if you haven't seen that, then you can check out Nintendo has it on their website, they have it on YouTube, and I also have a reaction video to it, so you can see me being excited about most of the games and not so excited about some of the games, but for the most part I was really excited for it. And one of those games that looked really cool because, I mean, you know me, I like sandbox, open world games. They released Deadly Premonition Origins the day of the Direct, and they announced there's a sequel as well coming out next year. But Deadly Premonition is a game that I actually never played it, and I'm really excited to be able to play it now on the Switch, on the go, at home, wherever. It's a game where you're an FBI agent who goes to this small town that's kind of like nature-y, and you gotta figure out what's going on there. There's serial murder and some creepy stuff going on. I don't really know. I just read a little bit about it and it seems really cool. So if you haven't played it, or if you have played it, then check it out for the first time or check it out again on the Switch. Divinity Original Sin 2, the Definitive Edition, also launched the same day. That's a role-playing strategy game that you can play by yourself or with friends. There's a lot to do in it, a lot of different classes and things to choose from. You can do a lot of customization to the way you play the game, and I might be picking this one up because it's right up my alley. So if it sounds like it's up yours too, didn't sound right, but if it sounds like it's up your alley, check it out. And the other game that came out on the 4th, the same day as the Direct, that I was really surprised about, and kind of excited. Like, it ended up being a game that I've been playing a lot. Super Kirby Clash. It came out the same day it launched. They announced that it was launching later the day of the Direct, and I played it a lot. It's like basically Kirby boss battles, if you will. It's you and up to 3 other party members. Well, there's 3 other party members that you unlock very shortly into the game. That can be either computer or other people, online or local. It's like a free-to-play game, so you do have currency that, you know, it regenerates over time, and there's vitality that you can, you know, regenerate and to be able to do missions or battles, whatever you want to call them. And there's a story to it. There is a paywall if you want to, you know, pay a little bit of money or a fair chunk of money to be able to kind of enhance the game. You can level up the tree that gets you gem apples, which you get like 20 to start. It's not a lot. It doesn't go very far for after like a short amount of time. But if you pay $40 for the max pack, it does upgrade the tree to give you 2,000 gem apples every 12 hours, and that's more than enough to do whatever you want for however long you want. So if you like the game and you like the gameplay, then, you know, if you think about it, yeah, you're paying $40 for a free-to-play game, but you're also paying $40 for a game, and it's pretty much unlocked at that point. You can just play it like a regular game, and I really like the leveling up and acquiring of, you know, different weapons and armor, and I'm a sucker for leveling up and, you know, RPG style, kind of medieval sort of stuff, so it's really right up my alley, and I'm a fan of Kirby, so, you know, check that one out. It's free to play. You don't have to pay for it at all, but, you know, maybe you want to. It's up to you, but just letting you know. Another really big deal that finally happened that people have been requesting, speculating on, expecting for quite some time. They announced that Super Nintendo games are finally on the Switch. The NES games that have been being released, sure, some of them are good, but like, I don't know. I honestly don't really care that much about most of them. The ones that I like are good, and the rest of them are never really opened up for me in the application at all. But once you move up to Super Nintendo, there's a lot more games that are more appealing to play for a wider variety of people. That's not just, you know, I played that game when I was really little, so I remember it as being fun, but it really kind of isn't that fun, which is some NES games. I'm not talking bad about NES at all. I love the NES, but you know what I'm saying. Super Nintendo had a vast variety of games. That was a big step up on the 8-bit graphics and, you know, capabilities of the NES to the 16-bit graphics, and just what they could do with it was so much more, and it just opened up a lot more. So you have games like Super Mario World, The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past, which I love that game. The original Super Mario Kart, Star Fox, and more. They're not gonna do the whole, like, you know, release 1 or 2 games a month anymore, because that was, I don't know, kind of dumb. It was too much of a trickle down with not enough of a reward. But what they're doing with the SNES games is that they're just releasing them whenever. And that's way better because we'll just get random announcements of, hey, here's a new SNES game for you to play. I know that some of you say SNES, and that might be technically right, but yuck. But you do you say what you want. I'm gonna say what I want and have fun playing those games. All right, let's shift over to a bit of news for a second. Another bit of information that came out on the Switch this month is that at the Direct they announced, as we all predicted, pretty much everybody on the internet knew, for the same reason that I mentioned earlier, that Overwatch is on the Switch now. So it's not out yet, but it got announced. It's coming out in October, and they're gonna have a Pro controller that's Overwatch. So if you're a big Overwatch fan, you finally get to play it on the Switch, and you can also get an Overwatch controller. And I'm sure at some point that case that got leaked is gonna be out, so you can get that too. NBA 2K20, for all you basketball fans out there, that released on the 6th, and I've heard a lot of good things about it. I haven't played it, but I played 2K19 because I said before I got it for $3 on sale, and pretty good deal because I'm not a huge basketball fan, but the game's pretty fun, and for $3 can't beat that. But if you're a big basketball fan, or even, you know, casual enough to the point that you want to get this, just came out, and like I said, I've heard really good things about it. They've done really good things with the NBA series on 2K for some years now. It's been they put a lot of effort into it, and I appreciate that, even though I'm not huge into it, but I can appreciate all the effort that they put forth into it to make it a really fun game for people who love basketball. Now, if they only put that much effort, or even like a quarter of that effort, into the WWE games for 2K. And also that day, Tetris 99 got a physical release that comes packaged with a Nintendo Switch Online 12-month subscription for $30. So basically that combines the cost of the 12-month subscription, which is $20, and the $10 for the DLC paid pack, but you also get it on a cartridge. So if that's important to you, then here you go. Also related to Tetris 99, at the Nintendo Direct they announced a big update to it, which it actually has been a pretty big update. They changed the interface of the main menu just a little bit, enough that it feels a lot more like vibrant and lively now. There's more to do. They have a Tetris 99 Invictus mode, which is basically if you've won first place, then you get to play this mode. So you're basically playing in a 99 game where everybody has won before, which I finally did. I finally got first place about a few days ago or so. I can play that now, so get on it if you haven't and get that. They also added daily missions that you can complete up to 4 a day. You can get like a ticket, and with those tickets you can use them to unlock themes and other things like that. I think it's just themes right now, but they have a few more themes like Legend of Zelda and Super Mario. They added a bunch of different icons because the ones they had were kind of boring, and now they have ones that have like a kitty and a bear and things like that. They also introduced a few more game modes, so check that out, and if you haven't played it yet, it's fun. If you love Tetris, I love Tetris, then it's a really fun game. It's worth it for me to spend the money on the DLC because when you get to unlock marathon mode, you can play offline. So I like playing by myself, but I also like playing in the battle royal mode, if you will. I mean, that's what it is. So yeah, if you haven't checked out Tetris 99, or if you've never played Tetris, get it. If you want. I mean, if you have Nintendo Switch Online, then the game itself is free, so you can pay to have a little bit more features added, but at the very least, you get a free game. Now today, at the time of filming, if you're a horror fan, a couple of games have come out today that seem pretty interesting. The Sinking City released today, and they showed a little bit of that, like not really too much at a previous direct, and it seemed intriguing, but you're like, what's that? It's a horror open world game where you have to be like a private investigator and you have to find out what's going on in this H.P. Lovecraftian setting. So if you're a big fan of like Lovecraft stuff, then this will really, really appeal to you. And if you're just a horror fan in general, this should appeal to you. And if you're just like a, I don't know, person who likes open world games or just checking out new video games, this could also appeal to you. All those boxes are checked for me, so I'm definitely gonna be looking into this one, especially because it is open world and I'm just a sucker for those games. You can just do so much in them, usually. You should be able to do so much in them, and this looks really good. I love horror games. I'm gonna check it out. All right, so now we've moved on to games that have not come out yet, even though by the time I release this video, this particular game is probably gonna be out already. I want to be interested in it. I've said this a few times. I'm just not. I like the art, I like the general premise and idea of this game, but I don't know. But I know a lot of people are interested in this game. So tomorrow, Damon Ex Machina comes out, and if you're like into mech games, it's not really a mech game, but it kind of is. I don't know. I played the demo like a while back, and I wasn't feeling it. But if you're feeling it, tomorrow's your day, or today if I released a video the day that it came out, or if I released this video after it came out, then go get it if you want it. It looks cool if that's your thing, so yeah. On the 17th, if you're a fan of Lego games and or Jurassic World, dinosaurs, then the Lego Jurassic World game is coming out that day. So that's, for the most part, Lego games are usually pretty good, pretty fun, pretty straightforward and easy, but like fun. So yeah. Also that same day, I mentioned a little while ago about this game called Jet Cave Adventure. It's a game where you're a caveman and like a UFO like crash landed somewhere, and you get kicked out of a tribe and you gotta go, win your way back into the tribe using the things that you find and blah, blah, blah. It looks pretty fun. It's like a platformer, side-scrolling, and I said before I'm thinking about checking that one out, and I'm still thinking about checking that one out. It's only $20, so it's probably worth it. It's not a huge investment, so, think about it. Okay, another piece of news. This one's really important for just, in general, the future of gaming. It's not a huge deal at this moment in time because it hasn't affected tons of different things, but it's a step in the right direction. There's 3 games for the Switch right now that are out that have full, true crossplay, or at least 3 more. I'm not sure if other ones do. I think Rocket League might, but yeah. Smite, Realm Royale and Paladins all have true crossplay now. So that's really cool. It's really nice when you see game developers doing that with games. I'm hoping that at some point in the future that every game that is a multiplayer game that is on different consoles will be playable together, because I mean, come on. What harm is it to have like me playing on my Switch with someone on Xbox, or me playing on PlayStation with someone on Switch, or PC, or whatever, what have you. It's only going to be good for the community. I mean, I don't know. I guess I can see it from a business standpoint to a degree, not wanting to do that. But I also don't agree with that, because if you're a consumer and you see, you know, good faith things like that, and I'm really kind of talking about Sony for the most part, because Sony is the one who's had the most like pushback on doing this. But not that everyone else has been totally interested in doing it, because it hasn't happened on a larger scale. But anyway, it's happening with these 3 games, so that's cool that that's happening, and I hope to see that with more games at some point in the future. I hope that like that trends into being more of a thing, because, you know, it'd be nice. Also, there's been a little bit of information spreading around that Nintendo is potentially making some hinged Joy-Cons. I don't know what this would be for. Supposedly it would be for, you know, making it easier to grip, more comfortable to grip when you have it in handheld mode, but I don't know what that would be on, because if you have the rails, you'd have to unhinge it first and then put them on or something. I don't know how they'd have it designed exactly. I don't know if it would be on a Pro model. I don't know. I don't really think so. And you know me, I'm really looking forward to them finally releasing a Pro at some point, and I like to speculate about it. But this doesn't really like make me believe that there's going to be one. I think there's going to be one, but this isn't information that makes me think there's going to be one. I think this is just something that they're doing. If they're even doing it, at the very least, they're just patenting it so they can have it or something. I don't know. It's public record. You can see that it's patented by Nintendo. You can see the, you know, sketch work of it, or, you know, design of it. I will say that honestly, I'm more interested in hinged Joy-Cons than I am in the Ring-Con. But, you know, that's just me. Honestly, I don't really have that much of an issue with the Switch controller, but at the same time, I also do have the Skull & Co grip case that I really love, and without that, I don't enjoy holding it as much. So I suppose that they could be onto something if that's something that they're doing for comfortability reasons or usability reasons. But yeah, that's something that they're at least looking into with some research and development. So when it comes to racing games on the Switch, I pretty much only play Mario Kart. Anytime I play anything else, I just go back to Mario Kart, honestly. And that's no disrespect to other games, it's just that, I don't know, Mario Kart does it right, and yeah. But on the 19th, there's a game that I've been really looking forward to, because it's like the opposite of Mario Kart. Mario Kart is a fantasy fun game with, you know, all these lively characters and these, you know, lively, vibrant, crazy lands that you do ridiculous things in. And this other game is the opposite. Grid Autosport comes out on the 19th, and it's like pretty much a racing simulation game. It's really realistic looking. I'm hoping that it performs well on the Switch, because we've had some other games on the Switch that don't perform so well, even though they're supposed to look really good and run really good. I have high hopes for this one. I don't really have anything to back up those high hopes, but I just kind of have a feeling about it. I'm definitely going to be looking into it when it comes out, and if it checks out, then I'm totally going to be playing that game, because I like racing games, not all the time, but sometimes, and that looks like one that I'm gonna possibly like. So check that out for yourself. And on the 19th, Devil May Cry 2 is being released. They already have the first one out on the Switch, so here comes the second one. I don't know why they haven't just released a collection of like the first 3 games, because they did that on other systems, and Capcom is weird. They have good games, but they're weird. They release the same games on different systems at different prices and in different manners. I don't get their rhyme or reason. I think they might have just thrown some darts at a board and they were like, oh, let's do that now. I don't know. But it's pretty cool. I never actually played the Devil May Cry series before, and then I played Devil May Cry 4 or 5. I forget which one was on PlayStation 4 like a handful of years ago. But I played that one, and it was a lot of fun. So I'm going to be looking into these ones. I really enjoyed the humor in the game. He really doesn't care. He doesn't give up about anything. He just goes through and just murderizes everything, and you know, it's a lot of fun. It's like a shoot 'em up kind of game, sorta. I don't know if that's the right way to describe it, but you go through in a linear story and you shoot everything. So it's a lot of fun. At least that game is a lot of fun. So I'm assuming that Devil May Cry 2 and the first one that already came out, if you haven't played that one, are a lot of fun. And if you like those games, check them out. Ooh. I'm really excited about this one. So at the E3 presentation, they talked about this game called Overland, and it's really unique looking. I haven't played a game like that I can think of at all. You're in like the post-apocalyptic world, and you're a group of travelers that are going from one place to another, and you stop at different destinations on the way to do different things. It's a turn-based strategy game where you have to survive. You have to make sure you don't, you know, spook these creatures that will mess you up. You want to make sure that you're collecting items that you need to survive. You need to ration things off. Make sure you don't run out of items that you need to survive. You can rescue a dog, apparently, which I'm looking forward to. I'll totally be doing that. I want a dog. But you really gotta like be careful with what you do and plan accordingly. And it seems like a really interesting game. The art's really unique, and just the whole layout of the game is really unique, and it really piqued my interest. So I will be definitely getting that. It's only 25 bucks, so chickadee, check that out. And then the 20th is a really big day. Untitled Goose game finally comes out, and that is the name of the game if you haven't heard of it. It finally comes out on that same day, the 20th. It looks like a lot of fun. You're basically a goose, and you have to go like cause trouble. I don't know if there's a story to it or you just go do stuff. I'm assuming you can like complete tasks and do stuff like that, but it looks like a lot of fun. It just looks like you're gonna be able to just be a really annoying goose and go annoy people and do stuff. I don't know. I guess it doesn't sound super interesting when I say it like that, but if you look at it, it looks really fun. I've been looking forward to it for a while, so I'm definitely gonna be looking into that one. And then arguably the biggest game of the month, probably with very little resistance to that argument, The Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening finally comes out. It looks so awesome. That was the first game that I played on Game Boy Color way back. And I love it so much, and I'm really excited. At first I was kind of like, what's going on with this art? It looks kind of weird, but like, it is weird. It's Link's Awakening with this sort of like chibi, almost like clay animation looking, but it's not. And kind of reminds me a little tiny bit of like Animal Crossing, but like not really, but just a tiny bit, which it gains a few points for me because you know. But it looks really good. Like if you haven't played the original version of the game, then play this one because you're gonna love it. If you love any sort of Zelda explorative game like that, it's so much fun, and I'm assuming that this is gonna be equivalent, if not far exceeding the amount of fun of the original one, and it's probably gonna be more fun because I mean, it's a whole new like remastered version of it for Switch. That's awesome. So like the 20th, that's gonna be a big day. I'm gonna totally release a first look video like as soon as I can. As soon as I get home from work or whatever's going on that day, I'm gonna do it. I can't wait to play that game. The 24th has some games that maybe you're interested in, maybe you're not. Contra Rogue Core comes out that day, and I'm not really interested in it. I'd rather just play like original Contra. Usually I'm more interested in like a reimagined version of older games. Sorta, not necessarily, but like usually I'm much more open to it. But for this one, I don't know, it doesn't seem too appealing. Maybe it does for you. If it does, look into it, maybe you'll love it, but So, the next game that comes out that day is a game that's kind of similar to the Friday the 13th game that came out recently. At least, you know, to a degree it's similar. It's like a horror game where you have to survive against other people, and yeah. Dead by Daylight comes out, and they got some cool stuff. And also, I don't know if it's like just a skin for the monster or if it's like a character separately that you can select. I don't know how that works exactly, but they have like the Demogorgon from Stranger Things and some of the characters from the game that you can play as and have to, you know, survive against the Demogorgon and try to kill them if you are the Demogorgon. And I don't know if they've done that with other like licensings and things like that. But that's at least one, and I think they're planning on doing more, and I don't know, it seems like a pretty fun game. So if you're interested in that, 24th, it's your thing. And out of these 3 games, I think that this one's probably the one I'm most interested in because I couldn't believe they announced it. It was out of nowhere. Star Wars Jedi Knight 2 Jedi Outcast comes out, and it's only 10 bucks. I thought it was gonna be like 20, 30, maybe even 40 bucks. Probably not more than that, but like I thought it was gonna be solidly like 25, 30 bucks. And it's only 10 bucks. So if you never played that game, play it. I'm gonna, for sure. And then the following day, it's not a Switch game, but it's a Nintendo game, and they have this game on the Switch, and it's being released for mobile. I don't know how it's gonna be. I haven't looked into it that much. I just know it's coming out, and when it comes out, I'm probably just gonna download it and check it out then. Mario Kart Tour comes out on iOS and Android devices on the 25th of September. So you can play Mario Kart. Even though you can play Mario Kart on the go with the Switch, you can play Mario Kart on your phone. I'm hoping that the inevitable, pay to gain certain things that you want in the game implementation of the gameplay isn't Pocket Camp-like. I'm so torn. This is like an aside. I'm so torn. I love Animal Crossing, as you know, and Pocket Camp, I was really looking forward to when it came out. I still play it every day, and right now I'm doing a fishing tourney, and I need to actually do that now because I haven't done it in a while all day. I'm kind of behind on Chip's tourney, but you need to spend way too much money to actually get everything you want, and I'm not willing to do that. There was a period of time where I kind of spent a little bit of money on it, and now occasionally I will, but like, come on. I really like the way, like I said earlier, the Kirby game did it, the Super Kirby Clash. It's like a sort of like a one-time purchase, at least for a while it will be. I don't know if at some point it'll not be, but for a long time it's definitely going to be like a one-time purchase that you get like access to the game in an unlimited sort of style. And I'm hoping that Mario Kart Tour is at the very least something like that. Preferably you don't have to pay at all for anything if you don't want to, and you can if you want to get something, but it's not going to actually like help you win or get ahead or complete stuff. It's just going to be like for your benefit, which is one thing that I do like about Fortnite. I'm not huge into Fortnite, but I like the idea of it where you just play the game, and if you never pay a dime and you're good at it, then you can win and have fun, and that's it. But if you want to pay to have different skins, customization, then that's cool. That's not really that unfair. It's really fair, honestly. I get, it's they kind of have some sneaky things about getting people to do that, but like, honestly, it's not. It's just like if you want to have different skins, then you can, and that's pretty cool. So I'm just, like I'm saying, I'm hoping that it's not going to be like a kind of a cash grab type game, because Nintendo's been doing that with mobile games a lot, and I don't know, I don't like it. Not a fan of that being their method of mobile style games. It's I get it, but also, I mean, bro, you're Nintendo. Anyways, the next game that comes out, it looks to me a lot like Age of Empires, which is a game that I played a lot as a kid. I love that game, and I still played it as an adult. I played it throughout the years, especially 1 and 2. Those are my favorite 2. Northgard comes out on the 26th, and you're Vikings. It's based around Norse mythology. You have to explore the land and figure out what's going around. You have to fight enemies who can be AI or other people that you know locally or online, I believe. If you never played a real-time strategy game, it's literally, you're in real time, you take control of the units, you build settlements, you have to explore and expand, and you have to win one way or another. There's different victory conditions. Can be, building certain things, controlling a certain thing for a certain amount of time, destroying your enemy completely, which is my favorite kind of victory condition. It was just on sale, and I meant to grab it, and now it's not on sale. But it's only 35 bucks, so it's, it's not overpriced at all. It was like 27 bucks on sale, and I wish I grabbed it for that, but 35 is nothing too bad. I'm definitely going to be looking into that because, like I said, I loved Age of Empires, so I'm really hoping that I love this game, and maybe at some point we'll see Age of Empires on the Switch. But for the time being, I'm really excited for this because I love Vikings. I love all that sort of setting, plot, Norse mythology. I'm a big fan of that. And I mentioned also in a recent video about the Switch how they have Modin Valley, and they haven't quite used Thor, but alluding to the Switch Pro. So you can check that video out as well. But again, as I say, I digress. Also at the Direct, they talked about another game that's coming to the Switch that was not on the Switch before, and it wasn't on an older Nintendo system, it was on Xbox. Xbox One, that is. Ori and the Blind Forest Definitive Edition is a platformer that, like I said, it was an Xbox game. It's now going to be on the Switch. I don't know how many games like that are going to come to the Switch. Probably not a lot because they've been buying out a lot of companies, so I feel like they're going to stop doing that so much, but who knows? I hope I don't, because it's really cool to see games from other systems come onto this system, and I'd be okay with games from the Switch branching out to other systems as well. Spread the love. I sent out a tweet related to this that I think it would be pretty cool if Astral Chain, if it was on PlayStation 4, if Nintendo allowed them to, port that onto PlayStation 4. Infamous Second Son would be a game that would be really cool on the Switch, which I think I mentioned in my very first video. Those games are not necessarily similar, but they're kind of similar in a lot of progression ways. They're relatively similar, but they'd be a cool trade. So if things like that started happening, that would be cool. So anyways, Ori and the Blind Forest is coming to the Switch on the 27th, so if you're interested in that, and I'm pretty interested in that, check it out. And then the last game of the month that, at least at this moment in time, has been announced. There could be other games that could be randomly announced that could be taking place after this, but the 27th is pretty much the end of the month, and Dragon Quest XI S Echoes of an Elusive Age Definitive Edition, that was a mouthful, comes out on the 27th, and I'm definitely looking forward to that game. I feel like that's the only other game really that's coming out in September that you could like put up against Legend of Zelda to say it's like the biggest, most anticipated game of the month. I am for sure getting that game. I think I might have already pre-purchased it with the vouchers that I got because I took advantage of that deal. That was a good deal because you save 20 bucks. Well, technically you save like 10 bucks per game, but like I saved 20 bucks on a couple of games, so totally worth it. I bought like 4 of them, so I saved like 40 bucks in total. I don't know, it was a good idea. But really excited. I've been loving Dragon Quest Builders 2. Not that this is like that, but it's Dragon Quest, so it's like still somewhat similar. I think I've said this before. I played one of the Dragon Quest games on like the DS. And I had a lot of fun with that, and you can actually play this game in like really old 16-bit, really retro style. You can swap back and forth whenever you want at any point in the game, at least that's what they've said. I don't know if there's any restrictions to that, but I'm assuming at least for the most part you can play it whatever you want. Not gonna lie, I'm probably gonna play it almost exclusively, if not exclusively, in this really nice new looking style, but it's cool to be able to do that if you want to play retro style because that's where Dragon Quest originated from. But like, that game looks sick. Like, that game looks awesome. Oh, and that reminded me, because Dragon Quest Hero was the last character that was added to the roster of Super Smash Bros. This month they announced that Banjo-Kazooie had a release date, and it was on the September Direct. So if you didn't know that for some reason, and you just haven't picked up Super Smash Bros. And you want to, then Banjo-Kazooie is now a character that you can play as, or Banjo and Kazooie, but whatever. Banjo-Kazooie is a character you can play as in Super Smash Bros. Now, and they announced that the last character with a fighter pass is going to be Terry Bogard from Fatal Fury from SNK. I didn't play it. I am not super pumped about it. I'm not like disappointed because it fits, you know, he's a fighter. A lot of people are really excited about it, and a lot of people like don't care. I'm sort of in between. Like, it's fine. There's worse ones. In my opinion, I'm not a fan of the Joker character, honestly. But like, again, if you are, like, don't take that to heart that like I'm saying anything bad about what you like. I'm just not into it. It's not for me. But if it's for you, perfect. But again, like I said, you can play as Crash Bandicoot, and Terry Bogard's coming to the system game. I mean, technically he's coming to the system, but he's coming to the game. And they also said that that's not the last fighter that they're going to release. They're going to have a new fighter pass or something like that. They haven't put a number on it. They're probably going to just keep releasing characters for the entirety of the system's longevity. I'm assuming they're going to just keep doing that. So if you've been disappointed with the roster that's come out, then there's going to be more that you hopefully won't be. And if you've liked the roster, then there's going to be more that hopefully you'll like even more. Or at least as much. Also, I'm going to mention that if you've played your Switch at all since before I released this video, then you probably already had this update. But the 9.0 system firmware update happened, and there's been a significant amount of features added to it. I'm not going to go into too much detail on it because there's a lot to it. I might release a whole video on it because of how much there is. but I'm going to name a few things. You can now search for channels in the news feed that you want to, get different information from by name or keyword, instead of having to just scroll through and probably never find what you're looking for. So that's pretty cool. If you go to Nintendo events, they actually have where you can access the QR code to check into them on your Switch. So if you're going, you can bring that and make it easier to check into these events, which I've never gone to, but it sounds kind of cool, maybe. You can configure the touchscreen to be optimized for either like finger input or for a stylus, so that's cool if you play a game with a stylus, like maybe Super Mario Maker 2. It's supposed to be better suited to that if you're using a stylus, whatever game you want to use, but that's a really important update, I think. I don't even really use the touchscreen that much, ever, but like if you do, then that's good, and I think that's important for people who do use it. There's some sort of alarm feature that's been added to it that I don't know if there's any access to it yet. You're supposed to be able to have it in certain games or something. I feel like that's something that's gonna be implemented shortly. Maybe the next Direct or sometime soon we'll get more information on that, but that's another thing that they updated. Apparently for the Lite, if you pair another controller to it, you have the option of shutting off like the button input. I don't know what the purpose of that would be exactly, but you can do that. And this is possibly the most important one. Like, it's a really good step in the right direction for the online service, I think. There's an online play invites to the user page that it makes it easier for you to get, invitations to games that people are sending you right on your page, like right on your Switch. You can access them in one spot. It's kind of reminding me of, with PlayStation and probably Xbox. I don't have Xbox One, so I don't know. But PlayStation's online service, you can access invites to games in one area, and that makes it really convenient. They still need to add party chat to the Nintendo Switch. That would be a really big step in the right direction, and that would be one of the final things they need to do besides get their online performance to be kind of up to par. But at least consolidating some online features as far as playing games with other people, which is the biggest reason to have an online service. This is a good thing that they've done that, so A. And the last bit of information that I'm going to talk about today, and I'm going to make a video on this specifically as well, even though I'm talking about it now, I just want to really highlight it. Pine finally has a release date. Twirlbound finally gave us an actual release date, and it's coming out on October 10th, so it's coming out in less than a month, just under a month at the time of filming this. So I'm super excited, as you know, if you've been following me, if you've been subscribed to me and listening to me since pretty much around when I started. I started right before the July Direct and at E3, and they talked about Pine, and I'm really pumped about this. It looks awesome. It looks so good. Good. Twirlbound has definitely put a lot of time and effort into this game, and I'm really happy that it's finally coming out. They delayed it for just a little bit. It was supposed to come out in August, and they delayed it for just a little bit longer to really tweak it and get it right. And I really appreciate that, like I said before in my video about it being delayed. And also, I expected this to be more expensive than it is. It's only gonna be 25 bucks. I was expecting 30, 40, maybe even full price game, I don't know. Maybe 50 bucks, somewhere in that range, but it's gonna be 25 bucks. I'm gonna do a video on that one, so I'll talk more in depth about that on the video, but it looks awesome. It's an open world game that's kind of Zelda-ish, but it's not a copy of Zelda, it's inspired by it, clearly. The environment changes depending on what you do in it. You're supposed to survive, you're not the top of the food chain, you're a human, you have to find your way. There's all these animals in it that are different kinds. Some of them are nice, some of them are not so nice. You gotta trade with them, and I'm gonna talk about that, but finally, it's coming out next month. I'm so excited. I'm gonna totally get that as soon as it comes out. Hell yeah, banana bread at work. Okay, so I'm pretty sure this video has been very long. There's been a lot of games that are coming out this month and that have already come out this month. September, I knew was gonna be just a saturated month full of games and information, and it's just good month to have a Nintendo Switch. So share, and subscribe, and stay tuned. I'll see you on the next one. Thanks for watching.